Good day, learners. Today we are going to discuss part 4 of measure of variability, which is the standard deviation in basic statistics lesson 10. But before anything else, do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified for my upcoming videos. This video lesson discusses about measure of variability, which is the standard deviation. Standard deviation is another measure of variability which is defined as the square root of the variance or the root mean square of the deviation from the arithmetic mean. It is the most commonly used by the researchers because it is the most dependable measure to estimate variability of the total population. This is the formula in finding the standard deviation of ungrouped data, which is the square root of the summation of the square of the difference between the row score and the mean divided by n. And the formula in finding the standard deviation of group data is the square root of the summation of the product of the frequency and the square of the midpoint divided by n minus the square of the mean. Let us have an example. Consider the ungrouped data in 90-item test in statistics and probability taken by the 12 senior high school students. Compute the standard deviation. It shows in the table the row scores of the 12 senior high school students and the total, the summation x, which is equal to 636. The first step that we need to do is we have to compute the mean. In order for us to compute the mean, we need to use the formula mean is equal to the summation x divided by n, where the summation x is 636 and our n, which is 12. So if we are going to divide now 636 divided by 12, that is equal to 53. Step 2, subtract the mean to the row score x. So if these are the row scores of the x, each of the row scores will be subtracted by mean 53. So we have 30 minus 53 is equal to negative 23. 35 minus 53 is equal to negative 18. 44 minus 53 is equal to negative 9. 48 minus 53 is equal to negative 5. 52 minus 53 is equal to negative 1. 55 minus 53 is equal to 2. 58 minus 53 is equal to 5. 60 minus 53 is equal to 7. 62 minus 53 is equal to 9. 63 minus 53 is equal to 10. 64 minus 53 is equal to 11. 65 minus 53 is equal to 12. Step 3. Get the absolute value of the results in step 2. As what you have noticed, all of the values are all positive. It is because we get now the absolute values in the column 2. Step 4. Sum up all the results in step 3 to get now the value of the summation of the absolute value of x minus the mean. We just only add all the values in the third column to get now the summation of the absolute value x minus the mean, which is equal to 112. And the step 5, compute the standard deviation. Using the formula in finding the standard deviation of ungrouped data, we have the square root summation of the absolute value x minus the mean divided by n. We all know that our summation absolute value x minus the mean is equal to 112, and our n, the number of row scores of the 12 senior high school students. Okay, just substitute on the value of the summation of the absolute value x minus the mean, which is equal to 112, and our n is equal to 12. After getting now the 112 divided by 12, that is equal to 9.33. Then get the square root of 9.33, that is equal to approximately 3.05. Then we can say our standard deviation is 3.05. Another example is finding the standard deviation of group data. Example, 30 students in a class took statistics test. The results are recorded in the frequency distribution table as shown in the table below. Find the standard deviation. This is the frequency distribution table of the 30 students took the statistics test. The first step that we need to do is we have to compute the mean of the group data. We need to get the midpoint. To complete now the column for the midpoint, we need to add now the upper and the lower limit of the class interval and divide it by 2. For example, if we have 70 to 79, so 70 plus 79 divided by 2, that is equal to 74.5. 60 plus 69 divided by 2, that is equal to 64.5. 50 plus 59 divided by 2, that is equal to 54.5. 40 plus 49 divided by 2, that is equal to 44.5. 30 plus 39 divided by 2, that is equal to 34.5. And 20 plus 29 divided by 2, that is equal to 24.5. After, we have to multiply now frequency and the column of the midpoint. 2 times 74, that gives us 149. 3 times 64.5, that gives us 193.5. 2 times 54.5, that gives us 109. 7 times 44.5, that gives us 311.5. 9 times 34.5, that gives us 310.5. 7 times 24.5, and that gives us 171.5. And we are going to sum up all the data in the column for the FM. If we are going to add all these values, that gives us the sum of 1,245, which is the summation FM. We need to get the summation FM. It is because in finding the mean, the formula is the summation FM divided by n, where the summation FM in the table, that is equal to 1,245, and our n is the total of the frequency, that is 30. So when we are going to divide now 1,245 divided by 30, that gives us a mean of 41.5. Step 2. Multiply the midpoint by itself to get now the column for the m square, or the square of the midpoint. So all we need to do, if this is now the column for the midpoint, we have to square now each of the midpoint or multiply by itself. So if we have now 74.5 square, or 74.5 times 74.5, that gives us 5,550.25. 64.5 times 64.5 is equal to 4,160.25. 54.5 times 54.5, that is equal to 2,970.25. 44.5 times 44.5, that gives us 1,980.25. 34.5 times 34.5, that gives us 1,190.25. And lastly, we have 24.5 times 24.5, that gives us 600.25. Third step, multiply the column for the m squared to the column of the frequency. If this is the column of our frequency and this is the column of our m squared, so all we need to do is we have to multiply each corresponding data. So if we have now a frequency of 2 multiplied to 5,550.25, that gives us 11,100.50. 3 times 4,160.25, that gives us 12,480.75. Another, we have 2 times 2,970.25, that gives us 5,940.50. 7 times 1,980.25, that gives us 13,861.75. And 9 times 1,990.25, that gives us 10,712.25. And lastly, we have 7 times 600.25, that gives us 4,201.75. Step 4, we need to sum up the results in step 3 to get now the value of the summation of the product of the frequency and the square of the midpoint, which gives us 58,297.50. Step 5 is we need to compute now the standard deviation of the group data using the formula. Standard deviation is equal to the square root of the summation fm squared divided by n minus the square of the mean. Substituting now the value of our summation fm squared, which is 58,297.50, and our n, which is equal to 30. So we have 58,297.50 divided by 30 minus our mean is 41.5 minus 41.5 square. So simplifying further, we have, as we are going to divide now this one, that gives us 1943.25 minus the square of the 41.5 is equal to 1722.25. So as we are going to get now the difference between now the two, that gives us 221. Then we are going to get now the square root of 221. That gives us 14.87. Then we can say our standard deviation of the group data is equal to 14.87. And that ends our video discussion at this moment. Thank you for watching. But before you will end this video, please do assess your learnings by answering the self-test activity. Thank you.